Ahead of the 1996-97 season, prolific striker Alan Shearer joined boyhood club Newcastle United from Blackburn Rovers for a world record £15 million. "This signing is for the people of Newcastle," manager Keegan said. "It just shows you the ambition of Newcastle United. We are the biggest thinking team in Europe now." Earlier in the summer, Manchester United offered £12 million plus Andy Cole in a bid to sign Shearer. However, Blackburn rejected the offer. Shearer did not get off to the best of starts in a Newcastle shirt, as the 1995-96 Premier League runners-up lost 4-0 in the Charity Shield against Manchester United. The first weekend of the season saw Fabrizio Ravanelli score a hat-trick on his Middlesbrough debut in a 3-3 draw with Liverpool. The £7 million signing from Juventus became an instant fan favourite on Teesside, but his opening day heroics were somewhat overshadowed by a certain David Beckham. Manchester United led Wimbledon 2-0 when Beckham received the ball from Brian McClair inside his own half. The young midfielder looked up, spotted Wimbledon goalkeeper Neil Sullivan off his line, and let fly with a right-footed shot from halfway. Sullivan backpedaled and reached out a hand in an attempt to stop the audacious effort, but it was too late. The ball nestled into the empty net, leaving Sullivan red-faced and Beckham with a career-defining goal on his resume at the age of 21. In managerial news, Ruud Gullit replaced New England boss Glenn Hoddle at Chelsea. Graham Souness took over at Southampton, and Leeds appointed George Graham after sacking Howard Wilkinson. The most notable change came at Arsenal, where the relatively unknown Arsene Wenger replaced caretaker boss Stuart Houston after Bruce Rioch's exit. Wenger joined the Gunners from Japanese club Nagoya Grampus 8, prompting many to question whether he could adjust to the Premier League. 2 months into the season, Liverpool and Manchester United were the only unbeaten teams. Newcastle and Arsenal also looked like title contenders, while Wimbledon and newly promoted Leicester enjoyed promising starts to the campaign. In the bottom half, fellow promoted clubs Derby and Sunderland recorded 2 wins each after 8 games. Elsewhere, George Graham had a tough task to turn Leeds' fortunes around, and Blackburn were in serious relegation trouble after Alan Shearer's 4 goal-filled years at Ewood Park came to an end. While Alan Shearer's former team struggled, his new club made an emphatic title race statement with a 5-0 win over Manchester United. Philippe Albert rounded off the victory with an exquisite chip as Kevin Keegan's entertainers made amends for their 4-0 Charity Shield loss against the same opposition 2 months earlier. Manchester United's first defeat of the season was followed by a humbling 6-3 loss at Southampton. Eyal Berkovic and Egil Ostenstad both scored twice as Graham Souness' Saints produced one of the most shocking upsets of the campaign. The Red Devils' bad run continued when Ruud Gullit's Chelsea came away from Old Trafford with a 2-1 win, consigning Alex Ferguson's side to a 3rd successive loss. Suddenly, after 3 Premier League triumphs in 4 seasons, Manchester United no longer looked like title favourites. Arsenal, meanwhile, began the Arsene Wenger era with a bang. In the Frenchman's first league game in charge, the Gunners beat struggling Blackburn 2-0, courtesy of 2 Ian Wright goals. Wenger implemented several changes behind the scenes at Arsenal, most notably to the players' diets. He encouraged the team to chew food slowly and banned them from eating chocolate. Before the Blackburn game, players reacted to the ban with good humour. "We want our Mars bars back," the squad chanted on the coach to Ewood Park. Elsewhere, Southampton named new signing Ali Dyer on the bench for the visit of Leeds in November after a short trial. Dyer, believed to be the cousin of World Player of the Year George Weah, replaced Saints midfielder Matt Le Tissier after 32 minutes. Graham Souness was less than impressed with Dyer's display and substituted him in the 85th minute of the 2-0 defeat. It later turned out that Dyer was not an exciting prospect, nor was he the cousin of George Weah. Due to an injury crisis, Souness took a gamble on signing Southampton's number 33 and quickly realised how bad he was. Needless to say, Southampton released Dyer when the truth emerged. On Merseyside, Robbie Fowler scored 4 goals as Liverpool thumped Middlesbrough 5-1 at Anfield. The victory helped ensure Roy Evans' men were in top spot on Christmas Day. Manchester United and Newcastle stayed in the title race as January neared, but both teams had some catching up to do after an inconsistent couple of months. Wimbledon's surprising 14-game unbeaten league run ended with a 5-0 loss at Aston Villa, while things were looking up for Chelsea after signing Italian playmaker Gianfranco Zola from Parma. In the bottom half, Tony Parks replaced Ray Harford as Blackburn boss. Stuart Pearce became player-manager of bottom-of-the-table Nottingham Forest, and Gordon Strachan took on the same role at Coventry after Ron Atkinson became the club's director of football. Newcastle climbed the table after Christmas with a 7-1 win over Tottenham and a 3-0 victory against Leeds. Despite the club's upturn in fortunes, Kevin Keegan shockingly resigned as Newcastle manager. "It was my decision, and my decision alone to resign," Keegan said. "I feel I have taken the club as far as I can, and that it would be in the best interests of all concerned if I resigned now." Keegan also told The Sun that the elation he felt during the 7-1 win over Tottenham meant nothing when he saw the pain on the face of Spurs manager Gerry Francis. "I knew that was it," Keegan said. "When you feel like that, you have to get out." Kenny Dalglish, Alan Shearer's manager during Blackburn's 1994-95 title-winning season, replaced Keegan at St James Park. Newcastle's north-east neighbours, Middlesbrough, were also at the centre of some unexpected news in January. The previous month, Middlesbrough postponed their match against Blackburn with 24 hours' notice after 23 players fell ill. The Premier League took exception to the postponement and deducted Middlesbrough 3 points, throwing Brian Robson's side further into relegation trouble. At the top, Manchester United emerged as title favourites again after going 16 league games without defeat between November and March, a run that included a 2-1 win over rivals Arsenal at Highbury. In another hotly contested title race encounter, Robbie Fowler netted a late winner as Liverpool beat Newcastle in a 4-3 Anfield Classic for the second year in a row. 2 weeks later, Roy Evans' side all but ended Arsenal's title hopes with a 2-1 away win. The match featured an impressive act of sportsmanship from Robbie Fowler, who admitted he should not have been awarded a penalty after going down under the challenge of Arsenal goalkeeper David Seaman. Seaman saved Fowler's subsequent spot kick before Jason McAteer scored the follow-up. As April approached, Manchester United led Liverpool at the top by 3 points. Arsenal and Newcastle's title hopes appeared to be over, while low-scoring Leeds moved up the table under George Graham after 3 consecutive 1-0 wins. Middlesbrough were hovering above the relegation zone after their 3-point deduction. Graham Souness's Southampton were in trouble after 3 wins in 20 games, and Dave Watson took temporary charge of Everton after Joe Royle resigned. During the season run-in, Paulo Wanchop was among the scorers as Derby shocked Manchester United 3-2 at Old Trafford. After the match, Alex Ferguson challenged his players to find form in the last 6 games of the campaign. He also snapped back at Arsene Wenger after the Arsenal manager said he wanted the season to be extended due to fixture congestion. He's come from Japan, and he's now telling everyone in England how to organise their football, Ferguson told Sky Sports. I think he should keep his mouth shut, firmly shut. Manchester United went unbeaten in their remaining 6 games, winning 3 and drawing 3. Their closest challengers, Liverpool, struggled to keep up at the top, picking up only 5 points from their last 5 matches. The title race more or less ended when Manchester United came away from Anfield with a 3-1 win. 3 weeks later, Wimbledon's 2-1 victory over Liverpool and Newcastle's goalless draw at West Ham meant Alex Ferguson's side could no longer be caught. For the fourth time in 5 years, the Red Devils were champions of England. A close relegation battle saw Blackburn and Southampton survive after difficult seasons. Coventry also stayed up at the expense of Middlesbrough, who would have finished 14th had it not been for their 3-point deduction. Sunderland and Nottingham Forest also went down. In the top half, Manchester United's first-placed finish was tougher to achieve than the final league table might suggest. Their 3 title rivals all finished on 68 points, well short of the kind of tally needed to claim the Premier League trophy. The 1996-97 season featured several unexpected moments, from Ali Dyer's Southampton cameo to Kevin Keegan's resignation, but the biggest shocker of the lot was saved for last. Eric Cantona, Manchester United's heroic number 7, retired from football at the age of 30. "It's a sad day for United," Alex Ferguson said at a press conference. "He's been a fantastic player for us in the 4.5 years he's been with us." Cantona scored 82 goals in 185 games for the champions, cementing his status as a club legend and Premier League icon. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more classic football stories. You can also visit deefaxfootball.com for a range of retro gifts, including a 500-question Premier League quiz book and more than 60 nostalgic football canvases. Alternatively, click the link on screen to take another trip down football memory lane.